A single gene changed, and with him the most lethal predator to ever walk the earth was born. Does it seem exaggerated? Think with me. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of big cats were nothing more than small mammals that hid from dinosaurs, creatures the size of a house cat, insect eaters, nothing more. But then something happened. A mutation here, another there, and suddenly we're talking about lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards. 400-pound killing machines capable of taking down a buffalo with a precise bite to the jugular. How did we get here? How did nature transform a scared mouse into a Siberian tiger? The answer is written in DNA. Every big cat you see today, roaring in the African savannas or lurking in the Asian forests, carries in its genetic code the history of millions of years of mutations. And we're not talking about random, meaningless changes. We're talking about brutally efficient transformations, tested in blood and survival, refined generation after generation. Today you will discover how specific genetic mutations shaped the most perfect predators on the planet. I'll show you which genes changed, why they changed, and what these changes mean in practice. Get ready, because after this video, you will never look at a feline the same way again. Let's start with the obvious. What makes a feline a feline? Retractable claws, right? That's the signature trick. All big cats, with one notable exception that I'll mention in a moment, have the ability to hide their claws when they're not using them. This isn't just a convenience, it's a brutal evolutionary advantage. Claws exposed all the time like dogs become blind. They lose the thread. But retractable claws, these are as sharp as razors, always ready. And the mutation that allowed this was relatively simple. A change in the ligaments and tendons of the paws, controlled by a small group of genes related to bone and muscle development. But here's the interesting thing. This mutation did not appear overnight. It was selected over millions of years because ancient cats that could keep their claws sharp hunted better. They hunted better, ate more, survived longer, reproduced more, and they passed this characteristic on. This is how evolution works. It's not a plan, it's a massacre. Those who don't adapt die. Those who adapt dominate. Now let's talk about speed. Did you know that a cheetah can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds? 3 seconds? That's faster than most sports cars. How is this possible? The answer lies in a series of mutations related to muscular and respiratory structure. Cheetahs have a much higher proportion of fast-twitch muscle fibers than other felines. This characteristic is controlled by specific genes that regulate the type of muscle fiber that develops during growth. But there's more. The cheetah's spine is incredibly flexible. It works like a spring. With each stride, the column compresses and extends, adding meters to the distance covered. This flexibility comes from mutations in genes that control the formation of vertebrae and intervertebral discs. And it doesn't stop there. A cheetah's heart is proportionally larger than that of other felines. The lungs, too. The nostrils are wide. All this to maximize oxygen intake during a high-speed chase. We're talking about an animal that was literally redesigned by natural selection for one thing, speed. But here's the problem. Every specialization has a cost. The cheetah is fragile. Its claws are not fully retractable. Remember the exception I mentioned? They need traction for these crazy races. Your bones are lighter, more brittle, and after a hunt the animal is so exhausted that it often has its prey stolen by lions or hyenas. Evolution does not create perfection. It creates trade-offs, appointments. You gain something here, you lose something there. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the science behind apex predators, do me a favor. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Seriously, this helps a lot. The algorithm pushes the video to more people, and with more reach I can invest in more research, more content of this type. It's literally pushing a button, and it makes all the difference. Returning to felines. Let's talk now about something that few people understand. Night vision. Have you ever seen a cat's eyes glow in the dark? That's not magic. It is a structure called tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer behind the retina that essentially doubles the amount of light available to the photoreceptors. This structure exists in many nocturnal animals, but in cats it has been refined to the extreme. The mutation that allowed the development of a more efficient tapetum lucidum gave the ancestors of big cats a brutal advantage. Hunt at night, when prey is vulnerable and competition is lower. But feline night vision isn't just about the tapetum. They also have a much higher ratio of rods to cones in the retina. Rods are the cells responsible for vision in low light. Cones are for color and detail. Felines have sacrificed some of their color vision to gain sensitivity to light. Again, trade-offs. You can't have everything. And there is another fascinating detail: the vertical pupils. Have you ever wondered why cats have those snake-like pupils? The reason is light control. Vertical pupils can close into a tiny slit, protecting the sensitive retina during the day, and open completely at night, capturing every available photon. But this adaptation is not universal. Lions, for example, have round pupils. Why? Because lions hunt mainly during the day, especially at dawn and dusk. They don't need this extreme light regulation. Leopards and jaguars, which are nocturnal, have vertical pupils. Evolution sculpts each species according to its niche. Now let me ask you a question. What do you think would happen if a mutation arose today that gave a feline, say, significantly greater intelligence, like close to the human level? Would this mutation be selected, or would there be some hidden cost that would make it disadvantageous? Write in the comments what you think. Let's change the subject a little. Let's talk about the bite. The famous fatal bite of big cats. Did you know that different cats kill in different ways? And these differences are all linked to specific mutations in the structure of the skull and jaw. Lions, for example, have a relatively weak bite for their size. They compensate by hunting in groups and using suffocation. They bite the prey's snout or throat and hold it until it can no longer breathe. As for the jaguar, totally different. The jaguar has the strongest bite of all felines, proportional to its body size. They can literally pierce skulls, and they do. While other felines avoid bones, the jaguar bites directly on the head, a hole in the skull, straight to the brain. Instant death. This ability comes from mutations that strengthened the masseter and temporalis muscles. These are the muscles that close the jaw. In jaguars, these muscles are proportionally larger and stronger. Furthermore, the shape of the skull changed. The jaguar's skull is shorter and wider, which provides more leverage for the bite. And the teeth? Feline canines are drilling machines. Long, curved, with a sharp tip. But again, there are variations. The teeth of the saber-toothed tiger, which went extinct thousands of years ago, were absurdly long, up to 28 centimeters in some species. Why such big teeth? The most accepted theory is that they were used to cut large arteries. The saber-toothed tiger probably didn't bite as hard as a modern jaguar, but he didn't need to. Those sabers were for fast, massive bleeding. And here's something few people know. Those huge teeth were a problem. They broke easily. Fossils show that many of these animals lived with broken or infected teeth. And when your main hunting instrument breaks, you starve. So why evolve such large teeth if they were fragile? Because at that moment in that environment, with those prey available, the benefits outweighed the costs. When the environment changed, when large prey animals disappeared, saber-toothed tigers became extinct. Evolution does not look to the future. She only responds to the present. Let's talk now about something less obvious: the digestive system. Big cats are hypercarnivores. This means that more than 70% of their diet is meat. And the digestive system has been completely redesigned for this. The feline intestine is much shorter than that of omnivores or herbivores. Why? Because meat is easy to digest. You don't need yards and yards of intestine fermenting plant material. You need an efficient system that extracts proteins and fats quickly, but it has a cost. Felines cannot process carbohydrates well. They do not have enough of the necessary enzymes. This is why domestic cats become diabetic when they eat food full of grains. And there's more. Big cats have an incredibly acidic stomach. The pH can reach 1, which is extremely low. This allows them to digest bones, skin, fur, everything. Nothing is wasted. This stomach acidity also protects against pathogens. When you eat carrion, as many felines do, you are exposed to dangerous bacteria. A superacidic stomach kills most of them. Again, we are seeing mutations that have optimized every aspect of the body for a specific lifestyle. Hunter, carnivore, top predator. Before we continue, I wanted to make a sincere request. If you are finding this content valuable, if you are learning something new, consider becoming a member of the channel or making a contribution there at Valo de May. Any amount helps. Serious. Producing videos like this takes work, research, script, editing, and your financial support is what allows me to continue doing this. So if you can help, I would be very grateful. And if you can't, no problem. Just watching this far helps a lot. Now let's talk about an aspect that is usually ignored: social behavior. and how genetic mutations influence this. Lions are the only truly social felines. They live in groups, cooperate in hunting, and raise young collectively. All other big cats are solitary. Why are lions different? The answer probably lies in genes related to the production of neurotransmitters, such as oxytocin and vasopressin. These hormones regulate social behaviors in mammals. Studies suggest that lions have variations in these genes that promote cooperative behaviors. They tolerate other lions better than, for example, tigers tolerate other tigers. But being social also has costs. More mouths to feed, more internal competition, increased risk of communicable diseases. So why did this evolve in lions? Probably because the prey in African savannas is large. Buffaloes, giraffes, young elephants. A lioness alone cannot take down an adult buffalo, but 3 or 4 make it. Cooperation became advantageous. A tiger, on the other hand, hunting in the dense forest of Asia, does not benefit from having other tigers nearby. The prey is smaller, more dispersed. Better to hunt alone, silently. Environment shapes behavior. Behavior is influenced by genes. Genes change through mutations. Everything is connected, and there is something even more impressive: the memory and intelligence of big cats. Experiments show that leopards can remember complex hunting routes for years. Jaguars learn to open chicken coop doors by watching humans. This cognitive ability comes from a brain that is relatively large for the size of the body, and specifically, a well-developed cerebral cortex. The cortex is where complex information processing, planning, learning takes place. Mutations that increase the size and complexity of the cortex were selected because intelligent felines hunt better. They learn from mistakes, adapt strategies. They remember where prey usually are, but it has a limit. Big brains consume a lot of energy, about 20% of total body energy in humans. This is unsustainable for an animal that can go days without eating. So the cats found a balance. Enough intelligence to hunt efficiently, but not so much that it consumes too many resources. Again, commitments. Nature is a master at optimization. Let me tell you a story. About 12,000 years ago, there were lions in North America. Huge lions, larger than modern Africans. They disappeared along with the Pleistocene megafauna. Why? Probably because their main prey, mammoths and giant sloths, became extinct, and American lions couldn't adapt quickly enough to hunt smaller prey. Here's the lesson. Mutations take time, evolution takes time. When the environment changes too quickly, the species cannot keep up and disappears. We are seeing this today with tigers, lions, jaguars, habitat destroyed, prey scarce. These animals will not evolve a solution in time. They will simply go extinct, unless we change something. But back to pure science. There is one final aspect I need to mention. The coat. Color patterns in big cats aren't just about aesthetics. They are evolutionary camouflage. Tigers have vertical stripes because they live in forests with dense vegetation and filtered light. The stripes break the contour of the body, making the animal almost invisible. Leopards have rosettes, rose-shaped spots, because they inhabit trees and vegetation with irregular shadows. The pattern perfectly imitates light and shadow on foliage. Lions, interestingly, are almost patternless. Why? Because they hunt in open savannas, often in groups. Individual camouflage is less important than group coordination. And here's the fascinating thing. The genes that control fur are relatively few. Small mutations in these genes create completely different patterns. That's why we have white tigers, black leopards, white lions. These are rare mutations that would normally be eliminated by natural selection. A white tiger in the forest is easily seen by prey, but in captivity, these mutations persist because we humans find them beautiful. It's a reminder that evolution only works when there is selection pressure. Remove the pressure, and any mutation may persist. So, we come to the end, and the big question remains: what makes a perfect predator? It's not a feature, it's not a gene, it's a symphony. Tens, hundreds, thousands of mutations accumulated over millions of years, each brutally tested by the realities of survival. Retractable claws, night vision, powerful bite, quick burst muscles, flexible column, acidic stomach, brain capable of learning, each piece built slowly, generation after generation. The big cats we see today are the result of a blind but incredibly efficient process: random mutation, ruthless selection, survival of the fittest. They were not designed, they were carved, by nature, for time, by the blood of countless ancestors who weren't fast enough, strong enough, smart enough. And when you look at a lion, at a tiger, at a jaguar, what you are seeing is not just an animal. You are seeing living history, millions of years of trial and error written in DNA, a testament to the brute force of evolution. But here's the part that haunts me. These animals, these masterpieces of nature, are disappearing. In a few decades, we may no longer have wild tigers, lions in critical decline, jaguars losing habitat every day. It took millions of years to build these predators, and we will destroy them in centuries. Think about it. The next time you see a big cat, whether at a zoo, in a documentary, or if you're lucky in the wild, remember this. You are looking at something unique, irreplaceable, impossible to recreate. Evolution doesn't give second chances. Once extinct, it is gone forever.